Here we go. Arms come down on the big. Drive to the side from Chodzilla.
Once a towering figure in the world of arm wrestling, Yoshinobu Kanai has spent years out of the spotlight, but now he's making waves with what looks like a promising comeback. This resurgence raises a compelling question. Just how good was Yoshi Kanai at his peak, and what twists and turns brought him to where he is today? I am the Arm Historian, and today I'll be your tour guide as we dive into the extraordinary journey of one of Japan's most iconic pullers. This is the rise and fall of Yoshinobu Kanai. If you have a moment, consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the Arm Historian. I'm ramping up my upload frequency and want to shoot for 10k subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you. Yoshinobu Kanai was born on February 10th, 1976 in Akashi, Hyogo Prefecture, a picturesque city east of Kobe, known for its high-quality sake and coastal charm. From an early age, Kanai, affectionately called Yoshi, stood out for his stocky and powerful build, a trait likely inherited from his father, a former college sumo wrestling athlete. Even as a child, Kanai's interest in combat sports was evident. He explored several disciplines before committing to judo, where he dedicated countless hours to honing his skills. But it wasn't just on the mat where Kanai began to showcase his strength. The local pastime of udezumo, or arm sumo, the Japanese equivalent of arm wrestling, quickly caught his attention. Kanai would spend his days walking the docks of Akashi, challenging local fishermen to arm wrestling matches. Victory after victory, he refined his technique and built a reputation as a young powerhouse with a physique that promised greatness. It was here, among the waves and weathered hands of fishermen, that the seeds of a future arm wrestling legend were sown. By the time the 1990s rolled around, Yoshinobu Kanai was entering the early stages of adulthood. At just 14 years old, he stumbled upon a piece of media that would shape his future in ways he couldn't have imagined. The 1987 movie Over the Top had reignited arm wrestling's popularity in the Western world, and a few years after its release, its influence began spreading further east. For the young Yoshi, who had only dabbled in arm wrestling casually with friends, the movie was a revelation. He realized for the first time that arm wrestling wasn't just a playground pastime, it was a serious sport with its own culture, training, and competitive scene. This resurgence of interest in arm wrestling led to the formation of clubs and organizations across Japan, creating a thriving competitive environment. Interestingly, Japan's connection to arm wrestling stretches back several centuries, though it had faded somewhat during the 20th century. If you're curious about the rich history of arm wrestling in Japan and around the world, I recommend checking out one of my earlier videos on the topic. 4 years later, at the age of 18, Yoshi faced one of the most challenging moments of his youth. A serious knee injury forced him to give up judo, a sport he had dedicated much of his life to. Unsure of where to channel his passion for competition, Yoshi felt lost until a chance discovery changed everything. One day, while reading the local newspaper, Yoshi came across an article announcing a nearby arm wrestling tournament. Despite having little to no formal training in the sport, he decided to enter the Hyogo Prefectural Championships. To everyone's surprise, including his own, he won, defeating the region's top-ranked arm wrestlers in the process. This victory was a turning point for Yoshinobu Kanai. He later described it as the moment that sparked his unrelenting passion for arm wrestling, a passion that would soon dominate his life and drive him to pursue greatness in the sport. Kanai decided to dive headfirst into the sport of arm wrestling, committing himself to training every single day. Alongside this, he made a life-changing decision to drastically transform his body composition. At the time, he weighed nearly 130 kilograms, but through sheer determination, he managed to drop several weight classes, slimming down to just 70 kilograms in an astonishing 6 months. Inspired by Yoshinobu's dedication, his younger brother Shigeki, 2 years his junior, decided to join him in pursuing arm wrestling. Shigeki, who was even larger than Yoshi, displayed the same natural Kanai family traits for strength and athleticism. The brothers acquired a proper arm wrestling table and subsequently transformed their parents' garage into a makeshift gym. It wasn't long before other local youngsters, drawn in by their passion, joined them in training. Over the next few years, Yoshi dedicated himself to improving in the sport and entering as many tournaments as he could find. One event that would become synonymous with his dominance was the All Japan Arm Wrestling Championship. In 1996, Yoshi claimed his first major victory at this tournament, winning on the right arm in the under 80 kg category. This was the beginning of an incredible streak as he went on to claim multiple titles across different weight categories at the championship, maintaining his dominance throughout the 1990s and well up until the 2010s. From the moment he started arm wrestling, Yoshinobu Kanai established himself as the undisputed top competitor in Japan. His rising status in the arm wrestling world led him to the WAF World Championships, where he first competed in 1996. As a newcomer to the global stage, he failed to secure any wins and was eliminated in the preliminary rounds. Undeterred, however, he returned in 1997, this time finishing 6th place in the left-hand 75 kg category. Finally, it was at the 1998 WAF World Championships in Canada that everything clicked. Against all odds, Yoshi achieved the unimaginable, winning world titles in both the right and left-handed 80 kg division. This historic triumph marked the first time a Japanese competitor had ever won in both arms in the middleweight category and catapulted Yoshi into the international spotlight. His victories brought significant media attention with them, not only elevating his personal status, but also shining a light on arm wrestling in Japan as a whole. The achievement signaled to the arm wrestling world that Kanai was a serious competitor, one whose relentless determination was matched only by his talent. During this transformative period, Yoshi also made a long-lasting contribution to the sport by opening his own arm wrestling gym. This space, still operational today, has become a beacon for udezumo enthusiasts in the area and a training ground for the next generation of Japanese arm wrestlers. Despite these major successes in his arm wrestling career, Yoshi would later describe this period as one of the most challenging times of his life. He faced immense physical and mental pressure to prove his 1998 World Championship victory wasn't a fluke. Determined to silence any doubts, his own and others, he pushed himself harder than before. Leading up to the 1998 WAF Championships, Yoshi reportedly ran 20 kilometers every day to make weight and trained with relentless intensity, further refining his craft on the table. At the 1999 World Championships held in Tokyo, Japan, both Yoshi and his younger brother Shigeki rose to the occasion. Yoshi claimed gold in the minus 80 kg class on the right arm, while Shigeki achieved the same in the open weight category. Reflecting on this event later, Yoshi recalled one of his toughest matches, a gripping bout against a young Neil Pickup, who he described as having an iron wrist. Interestingly, Neil himself recently revisited this event and his matches with Kanai during an episode of his podcast, The Fix.
One of those ancient samurai character. You know, like people talk about that, but he genuinely is that guy. We were in Japan and we pulled each other a couple of times in that tournament, and I think it was the second time we faced. But I'm sure I've pinned Yoshi, right? I jump all over his ass. He gets the win. I don't get the call. That's that. We meet again in the open class, the overalls, and we go at it again like a couple of dicks. I get a result. He comes over to me in the after show party. He's world champion. I think I got 4th or 5th, something like that. He comes over to me in the after show party with his translator, takes off his gold medal, and he's putting it around my neck. I'm like, what the are you doing? And he gets his translator to say, oh, you're only as good as your last match.
One of the highlights of the tournament for Yoshi was his opportunity to compete against the legendary John Brzenk. Although he was decisively defeated by the American great, Yoshi spoke of the match fondly, noting how much he valued testing himself against the best in the sport. Interactions like these reveal one of Yoshi Kanai's core motivations in arm wrestling, seeking out the most formidable competition and overcoming it in the most legitimate way possible. He would face Brzenk several more times over the following years and gave the legendary American quite a fight on several different occasions. Kanai's aspirations during this time weren't just personal. He often spoke about his vision for arm wrestling on a global scale. His ultimate dream? To become the best arm wrestler in the world, regardless of weight class, and to elevate the sport to mainstream prominence. Yoshi dreamed of a future where arm wrestling was celebrated like baseball or soccer, with athletes able to thrive both financially and socially. His dedication extended beyond his own success, and he was deeply committed to nurturing new talent and fostering a sustainable ecosystem for the sport as a result. Throughout the next decade, Yoshi continued to dominate the All Japan Championships, with 2003 being a rare exception. That year, he skipped the competition to once again face John Brzenk in an eagerly anticipated rematch. Although Yoshi fought valiantly, he ultimately succumbed to John's powerful press. The match, held near the beer station Ryogoku, close to the main venue, was followed by something equally memorable. Both Kanai and Brzenk hosted a seminar, interacting with fans and sharing insights about their craft. This demonstrated Yoshi's enduring commitment to connecting with the arm wrestling community and sharing his love for the sport. In 2005, Yoshi ramped up his international appearances once again, competing at the WAF World Championships and achieving impressive results. A bronze medal on the left arm in the -110 kg category and a silver medal on the right. These results reinforced his standing as one of Japan's premier arm wrestlers on the world stage. By 2008, Yoshi received an invitation to one of the most grueling tournaments of the era, the PAL Slotty Tour. Competing against some of the strongest pullers in the world, he put in a valiant effort and narrowly missed the podium, finishing in 4th place. As the late 2000s unfolded, however, Yoshi remained an active force in Japan, while simultaneously broadening his international experience. He was invited to several Arm Wars events in the UK, a testament to the respect he commanded in the global arm wrestling community. Neil Pickup, having faced Kanai on multiple occasions, clearly held the Japanese athlete in high regard, as he matched Yoshi against formidable opponents. At one such event, Kanai faced off against the American veteran Ron Bath, battling to a thrilling 3-3 draw on the right arm and narrowly losing on the left. Yoshi's Arm Wars journey continued with a clash against the infamous Michael Todd for the Arm Wars World title. On the right arm, Kanai delivered a stellar performance, outmatching Todd in what many consider a dominant display. However, Todd returned the favor on the left arm, securing a decisive 6-0 victory in a grueling battle. Tragically, Kanai's final outing at Arm Wars would have far-reaching consequences for his career. In 2011, at the infamous Arm Wars Las Vegas event, Yoshi was pitted against the loud and brash Hollywood Don Underwood. Disaster struck in the very first round, as Kanai, taken to the pin pad, appeared to suffer a significant injury. Neil Pickup has since spoken out about the aftermath of this match, providing insight into the severity of Kanai's injury, but also in the aftermath and how he handled the injury.
He comes over first match, he pulls, and he goes against Donnie Underwood. Very first hit, boom, bicep busts, breaks off the bone, guy's in terrible pain, goes over to Vegas hospital, trying to get himself sorted out. We do the full day competition. Travis Bagent has to come in to sub for him. Yoshi's out of the equation, we think, and that's the end of that. The Sunday morning, right, I wake up, knock on the door. I go downstairs. Yoshi is at the door, head hung, and his translator's with him again. You know, what's the diagnosis? What happened? Pretty much knew what it was. It was blown arm. He said, Neil, Yoshi wants to know if you can find him a match left-handed. And bearing in mind, he's broke his bicep tendon the day before and it's there. And he goes, doesn't really pull left-handed, but he's embarrassed and ashamed that he's let you down, that his bicep tendon's snapped. He can't go back to Japan without having completed a match. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, you really need to rest. You lost your arm. No. And his translator says, come over here. So I come over. He says, you don't understand. He won't let it go. You gotta let him pull, even if you gotta let him pull. It's not about winning or losing. He has to finish the match. And I'm like, right, okay. So I'm going around the guy saying, "Who? Anybody pull with Yoshi?" Tim Breslin steps up, pulls Yoshi on the left, with Yoshi strapped up. Yoshi's clearly in absolute agony. I'm like, oh God, don't want this to happen. Yoshi comes over after the match and he's like bowing and that I'd done him a mega favor.
Yeah.
Guy's different, I'm telling you. The lad.
That's the character.
This injury clearly was a devastating blow. While Yoshi had always been a capable left-handed puller, his dominant right hand was the foundation of his success. Despite this setback, Yoshi displayed remarkable resilience, returning to training quickly and showing no hesitation in competing again as soon as possible. On a lighter note though, in 2012, Yoshi made an unforgettable appearance on a Japanese variety show, where he faced a massive American, Bob Sapp. The ensuing arm wrestling match was as hilarious as it was entertaining, and remains a favorite amongst fans of lighthearted moments in the sport. Throughout the 2010s, Yoshi remained deeply involved in the Japanese arm wrestling scene. He took on more of an official role in developing the sport locally, mentoring up-and-coming athletes, and becoming a prominent figure on Japanese social media and YouTube. His appearances showcased his enduring passion for arm wrestling, even as he competed less frequently on the international stage. Despite this, Yoshi also participated in several more Slotty Tour tournaments, demonstrating flashes of his former brilliance. While he no longer dominated at the elite level as he once had, his performances made it clear that he still possessed considerable strength and skill. Closer to home, he continued to compete in regional tournaments and high-caliber exhibition matches, proving he could still give seasoned pullers a run for their money. Kanai's post-peak career is a testament to his resilience and unwavering dedication to arm wrestling. Though he may not have consistently reached the summit of the sport in later years, his influence and love for the game remained undiminished, leaving a lasting legacy both in Japan and abroad. Although Kanai has often been described throughout his career as somewhat of a defensive puller, his reliance on an open top roll became increasingly prominent over the years. This style suited him well and was on full display during his much-anticipated comeback on the international arm wrestling stage. Engin Terzi, founder of East vs West, arguably the most prestigious arm wrestling promotion in the sport, had long sought to bring Kanai into the fold. However, the two struggled to set a match, as Kanai initially requested to face Devin Larratt. Engin, understandably, felt this wasn't the right matchup for Kanai's first return to high-level competition.
Suddenly, he has reached me through his friend, and he said, I want to pull Devin Larratt. Yoshi, he has a world title match against Petrenko, and don't you think that it would be a really tough, start? And he said, no. I said, how about someone else? He said, no, he will wait for Devin. And then I tried my chance, and I thought that, it would be someone strong enough that Kanai would consider, and I said, how about Todd Hutchings? He said, yeah, that's worth the opponent,
Kanai was officially invited to East vs West 15, where he would face none other than Todd Hutchings, also known as Toddzilla, a decorated veteran and one of the most respected athletes in the sport right now. Heading into the match, the general consensus was clear: Toddzilla was the heavy favorite. But on the day, Kanai came prepared, determined, and seemingly incredibly strong. What unfolded was nothing short of a nail-biter. Kanai pushed Toddzilla to the limit, taking the match the full distance. In the end, Todd's unmatched side pressure prevailed, but not without Kanai putting on a spectacular show. His performance reminded everyone watching that he remains a formidable force among the elites in the -105kg category. I can only hope this super match serves as a springboard for Yoshinobu's full comeback, and that he walked away from the match feeling satisfied. After all, that's what Yoshi seems to value most. If nothing else, his battle at East vs West will undoubtedly open more doors for the Japanese veteran in the near future. This video is titled The Rise and Fall of Yoshi Kanai, but in truth, there wasn't much falling to speak of throughout his incredible career. Despite battling through a devastating injury, Kanai consistently performed at a high level, whether competing in the fiercely competitive Japanese arm wrestling scene or even on the world stage. Even during the periods when he stepped away from the spotlight, his unwavering passion for the sport never relented. Instead, he dedicated himself to nurturing its growth locally and, maybe even more importantly, mentoring the next generation of Japanese pullers with the same determination that defined his own journey. Yoshi Kanai exemplifies what it truly means to love and respect our still humble sport. His legacy is one of resilience, dedication, and an enduring desire to give back to the community that shaped him. As for me, I can only hope we'll see more of him in the future, continuing to inspire us all. Thank you for watching this episode of The Rise and Fall, and a major shout out to all the Armians and Fingerfolk. Your support means the most, and I wouldn't be making these videos without you. Arm Historian, out.